So Maplestory recently released character loadout presets in the new Go West update. And while exciting as it is, I understand a lot of players may have a confusing time figuring out where to get started and how to use this whole system. So I'm here to show a step-by-step instruction on how I would set it up, and maybe it could help you. This video will also explain how to instantly ring swap with your keybinds, saving you so much time in bossing, keeping your hands on the keyboard and swapping without worry. So let's start off with setup. I think the simplest and easy thing we can do to start with presets is the cash shop preset. So let's look at the inventory, and let's say this is your character, right? You have the Starlight set where every time you want to go bossing, you have to equip this thing, and let's say you don't want to look like this. You want your NX that you always want on, right? So what we can do with the new presets out, we can take off all the NX and replace it with the Starlight set. And with the NX that you took off, we can put it on this new outfits presets. There are 3 of them, right? And what I can do is I'll put the preset 1 and I'll put on the fried egghead. I'll put on the rest of my NX. And now what happens is I'm wearing the NX that I have as like a second layer to the Starlight set underneath this base layer, right? And I have the effects of the Starlight NX set with the NX I have currently equipped. And for the proof, if I were to take off, like, let's say the weapon, you see my combat score went down. Then if I have it equipped, while I'm still also wearing my current NX. The second thing I want to do now is to show presets for the equipment inventory. This is the most important one to set up, and this is what confuses a lot of people. So conceptually, how I want to explain this is, think of your presets like layers, right? I'll probably throw a very chaotic image on the screen, but basically how it works is preset 1 is your base layer. This is your base items. What we're going to do is we're going to put items on top of those existing items with the other presets. Let's say I have my drop gear here. This is my farming gear, all with item and drop, all the hybrids. And what I'll do is I'll go to the 3rd layer that's on top of the 1st layer directly. So when I switch over, it's all the same, except there's now a 1 on top of all these items. And what I want to do is I'll just double click in the 3rd preset now, because the 1st preset already has my damage gear. I'm going to double click my drop gear onto it. So what I'm doing is, it's as if I'm putting this on top, this EXP pendant on top of the superior pendant I already have. And now I'm using the prepared pendant of spirit instead of the superior. If you're wondering where the superior pendant went, it's still in the 1st preset. All I have to do is just switch back to it. And the EXP pendant that was floating over it is now just in the 3rd preset. So if I go back to the 3rd one, I'm back to using the EXP pendant that's on top of that 1st layer superior, right? So let's put the rest of my gear on top of it. You can easily double click all of this. Same thing, I mean, for rings you're gonna have to manually drag them. But now that I have the preset layer all set up, I can easily switch back and forth between the 1st layer for my damage gear and then my 3rd layer for drop gear. The reason why I left the 2nd one, for the 2nd preset, the 2nd and 3rd preset are the same priority. They're always going to be directly 1 layer above the 1st preset. To start the 2nd preset, what I do personally is I like to keep everything the same, except I put a different skill ring where the other skill ring would be from the 1st layer. And I'll explain why in a bit, but one thing is this will help you ring swap pretty quickly in bossing already by just pressing this preset and apply. But there's also a more clever way to get this set up. So what I want to do next is to show all of my Legion, hyperstat, inner ability, just to show what numbers they are so you don't lose track of all of them. And this is what I do. You can do something completely different. However you have your hyperstats and all of that set up, You just need to keep track of these numbers, and then we will look at the character presets after. My hyperstats here, I have preset 1 for farming, preset 2 for damage. I'm not going to switch it because it costs money, but you can see it has boss damage here, and preset 1 has normal damage here, along with my second preset for inner ability being for farming, first preset for damage. For Legion, I have my first preset for farming, second preset for bossing. So for my link skills, I have my preset 1 for damage, preset 3 for farming. So what I've done was I reset all of my character presets to its original state. That way we can work together and you can see the step-by-step on how I set it up. So the first thing you can do is that to get to that window, you can press the character button here. There's character preset, and you're gonna see this whole window. There's gonna be preset 1 through 5 here, and what you can do first is that you can go to this option button here and click, and then you'll have preset names, and you can name these however you want. This is what I recommend because I think a lot of players who have hybrid gear and can set up their gears similar to mine can do this, and you can do these in any order too. I have one preset for farming, one preset for my continuous ring, or just call this ring 1. We can call this ring 2 for ring swapping, and we can call this drop gear. The reason why I have drop gear in farming is because I want to switch to preset 4 but still be in my bossing links, because if I were to go back to my farm gear, then what's going to happen is that it's going to change everything, including Legion, links, hyperstat, and it's going to cost a lot of money in link skill usage compared to if I were to just have a whole new preset that just changes my gear to drop gear. Let's keep the preset names like this, and what we're going to do is that we're going to start off with farming gear. My farming gear, I have my preset 3 for my hybrids and everything. If you look here, you can see preset 3 for, you can click this arrow here too to show the equipment, and it opens the window to the relevant row. Equipment 1 is damage, equipment 3 is farming, so since it's 3 for farming, I'm going to keep the equipment 3 preset. Hyperstat, if I open up the hyperstat window, my hyperstat is on 1 for farming, so we're going to keep it to 1. For ability, that's my inner ability, it's going to be on 2, so we'll keep it to 2. My farming Legion is on preset 1, so I will leave it on preset 1. And for my links, my farming is on preset 3, so I will leave it as preset 3. And I'm going to press save, and that's going to save all the stuff here. Apply will actually directly change all of these, so you want to do this last if you really want to apply it and switch. For my damage gear, we're gonna switch to ring 1 now. Our equipment preset 1 is going to be the damage gear, which is fine. We have hyperstat, it's preset 2, so we're gonna set that to 2, and we're gonna continue along this route till we have everything set up, right? Legion is going to be preset 2, my preset 1 is link skills, right? We're gonna save this one too. And for ring 2, so what we're gonna do here is we're going to copy exactly what ring 1 is, right? But if you remember, my ring 2 is preset 2. It's the exact same thing as damage gear. All my links, Legion, everything's the same. All I wanna do is switch to this equipment preset. So all I'm gonna do is copy ring 1 to ring 2, so 1 2 1 2 1. This is gonna be 1 2 1 2 1, right? Except the equipment is going to be on 2. For drop gear, conceptually, let's say you're in a boss room and you don't want to switch to all of your Legion links. You just want equipment and possibly your hyperstat, because my hyperstat is item drop rate 15%. I want more drop rate when I'm hitting the loot box. So for my equipment, I'm gonna keep it on preset 3 because that's all my drop gear. My hyperstat is gonna be the same for bossing. My inner ability is going to be on preset 2 though, because I want the drop rate. My Legion is going to be the same, so that's Legion page 2. And then my link skills also gonna be same as bossing, preset number 1. So now that we have all of this set up, what we can do now, I'm in my farming gear right now, right? I can press apply and it'll switch to my farming gear. You can see I have my drop gear on. If I check my page, it's on the EXP. We have the Mesa obtained, you know, all that, right? I can now press ring 1 and I can swap everything to damage instantly. And it's gonna tell you the value based on the link and hyperstat change. You click that, pay for it, and now everything is in bossing mode. If you look at my combat power, it's much higher now. I have boss damage, hyperstat, my inner ability, my legions also all set up too, with just a click of a button. And this allows you to swap to ring 2 instantly. Same thing, there's gonna be 0 changes because everything's the same except for the equipment, which is free, And if we go to equipment, you'll see that I have my other ring. And for my drop, I press that one more time and it's in drop rate. Everything else is in bossing. But this window is kind of hard to get to, right? If I have to ring swap or anything, I have to press this preset, and then I got to click on this and then press apply, and it's kind of inconvenient. This is where the character preset key comes in. If you ever worked with combo key, this works the exact same way, where it'll rebind your 1 through 0 keys. Well, in this case, since there's probably 5 presets, it'll only rebind 1 through 5, right? So if I hold down the character preset key, it's going to show up the keybinds of all of my presets. And the reason why this is helpful is, let's say I'm in my character preset of my ring 1, and we're looking at my character preset 1. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold control, and I want to press ring 2. I can hold control, press 3, and then press enter to confirm. And what's going to do is it's going to gray out because it's not updated, but if I close and open my inventory again, it's going to immediately be in ring 2. So I can easily press control 2 to switch. I can press control 3 to switch, right? And this lets me ring swap instantly. If you check F3 here where my keybind is, I can press control 3, enter, and it's going to immediately switch to my ring. The game's rules still apply. If you are in combat, what's going to happen is it's not going to let you ring swap until you're out of combat, but I can just keep spamming these buttons and I can easily ring swap instantly the moment the equipment is ready to swap, right? So you can tell the usage of this, why it's so helpful. I no longer have to go to the inventory page. I don't have to move my mouse. Don't have to move my right hand to my mouse and then click this. I don't have to click that. I don't have to go to the inventory and double click my ring swap. All I have to do is just press this over and over. Right? Same thing for drop gear. If I want to go to drop gear, since it's the exact same, nothing's changed, I can just press control 4, enter, and it'll instantly swap to my drop gear. So no more do you have to slowly equip everything or go to this preset and press apply. With the keybind, you're already ready in drop gear and you can press R instantly in your boss parties. So for example, if I'm in Culvert and I'm using my continuous ring, last 20 seconds are up, right? I need to ring swap. I'll press Genesis weapon, I'll ring swap to my roar, and then I'm ready to just burst and then pop my roar and then burst. The last thing is, let's say you're coming from a boss meal and you have the Legion page like set up as if you have your bossing and your character is still in farming gear and you have to check, oh, is my link skills good? Like, do I gotta set it back to preset 3? What you can do is you can just simply press farming gear, preset, done. Everything's good. You have your EXP and item drop rate back on. You have your link skills already set up. All you gotta do is just press that control 1 or whatever button you assigned it to, and you're back to farming gear instantly. The ring swap is really good because all you have to do is press your keybind, the number, then press enter over and over. All your presets are set up. You barely have to press the equipment window ever again. The only exception is if, let's say, personally for me, I don't have max drop rate, I don't have double drop on another item. So what's going to happen is that my drop rate is still going to be around equipment item 180. So if, let's say if I'm in a boss room and my EXP pen is still here, I'll still have to go to the equipment window and just double click this to switch it out on preset 3, but it's not a big deal. Once you go back to farming, you just equip this again and you're good to go. So let's say you're a more early game player and you have 9 items of drop accessory, and then when you're farming, you take 5 of those items out for Meso instead. So you have 14 accessory in total, 9 for drop, 5 for Meso. What you can do, since we set our layer first base layer as damage, what you can do instead is that you can set your first base layer to just drop. Layer 2, you put on all the Meso gear instead of having to take out the 4 items to drop. You just put on the 5 items instead onto the second layer, and then your third layer can be damage gear. And that way you can easily swap between drop and Meso and you still have your damage gear. And then later, once you get hybrids, you can set up this up in the same way. You can ring swap very easily. So I hope this video helps you in some way or another. If there's anything you'd like to add, or there's something you'd like to share regarding character presets, please let me know in the comments. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more informational content like this. I have more videos coming soon. Remember that you are valued and loved, and I hope you have a good day and that you take care.